Set your butane torches to high and your expectations to low. Coming to you live from Just the Tip Cigars in the hills of the Steel City. Get ready to get your fix. This is the Cigar Junkies Podcast. Welcome to the Cigar Junkies Podcast, a cigar show for the community by the community. A forum to talk stogies, booze, food, and anything else in cigar lifestyle. If you're looking for ratings, negativity, reviews, or an authority on all things cigars, you came to the wrong place. Whether you like what you hear or not, please join the conversation and let us know by finding us at the Cigar Junkies Facebook group or emailing us at thecigarjunkies@gmail.com.
What's up, junkies?
It's vacation time. What do you tell me I need to fix? No. Air it on the show.
The YouTube for last week is terrible. That section where our stuff was backfeeding.
Oh, no.
I was listening back. Yeah, we need to cut that out. It's really bad.
On the YouTube, I just posted that. Yes, I actually posted
really bad.
last week's YouTube.
Yeah,
should only went up at like 5 a.m. this morning. Dude, was it this morning?
No, it was up last night.
It was up 5 a.m. yesterday morning.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Because I posted two shows last night.
120 and 122.
Yeah,
The Demon
I saw
show.
that one got missed.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi. How are you?
Hey, I don't know if I can fix that. I might be able to if the audio
just cut
is
it
fine.
out. No.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
He just had a whole seizure over there.
Jason just had a bowel movement through his knees, his nose. That was a hell of a thing there,
It
buddy.
was a whole. Yeah. Anyway.
That was the thing. That was
you doing,
awesome.
buddy?
Interesting.
How was
I'm
your
doing,
week?
I'm doing pretty well. My week was interesting. Okay. Pitter patter. Long story short, cutting down some small trees between my house and the neighbors on Monday. Took a tree limb to the left, dead end, like 90 degrees on my left knee.
Ow.
Took me down like a house of cards. And that's my good knee. I tore my ACL on my right knee when I was 19. Didn't know until I was 24. Never got it fixed. So my right knee needs surgery whenever I'd say, okay, I'm throwing in the towel. So losing the left knee, a little concerning. Immediate instability, but no swelling. I'm like, okay, I'm cool. Maybe just a really light sprain on the MCL. Went to sleep that night. I woke up, and the funny thing is, I have the sleep number bed, so it tracks how much restless you are visually and with numbers. And it was like every hour I woke up for like 10 minutes because I'd like roll over.
And then
Because my back sucks, right? So I'm always changing positions, and I'd wake up, be grab my knee like the F. I woke up with like 30% movement ability and just bad instability and swelling. I was like, oh no. So I tried taking a cane to work. They didn't care for that. And I said, well, the option was to make sure I could safely get to my office and do my job, or call off at 6 a.m. with no availability to cover for me. So I mean, I try and in my mind, I'm like doing the right thing. I went to the doctor on Tuesday. It was pretty much like 80% better by then, so I think I'm good. Which would have sucked to like tear my MCL
And then
the
go on
week
vacation.
before vacation. Yeah, it would have been poo poo. So I'm really jacked up to be on vacation this week. Started off right by going to Leaning House last night. Saw Jim Ross and friends, although he only had 2 friends last night, so I don't know if he hasn't been washing good or what. But it was him and Fred from the Regular Joes.
Oh, I like Fred.
Yeah. Yo, I tell you what, both of those guys were as good as I've ever heard anybody on that stage.
Nice.
They were Jim played acoustic, and Fred went back and forth between a mandolin and an acoustic. And then another dude coming out, I don't know his name, tall dude with dark hair and a beard. He just grabs a guitar and starts playing, and he's great too. Most impressively, cigar in his mouth the whole time, like an old lady behind the gas station counter in 1992 with a cigarette in her mouth. Like that cigar never left his mouth. It just stayed there. I had to get up a couple of times and relight it for him. I don't know if I was doing him a favor or hurting him, but they were so good. And the sad thing is I went up to tell them that, right? And I went because the other thing that's incredible is these guys are effing machines. 11 or from 6 until midnight, I think they played like 6 hours. Not a single break, not even to pee. no intermission, stood at the microphone the whole time. It was bananas. I'm like, somebody hydrate these guys.
Yeah, I've not done a show, but I can't see that being normal or okay.
I've had hot days in the oil field where I haven't peed for a long time just because you're sweating it as fast as you're drinking it. But like, I'm a little concerned for those guys.
They got camel bladders.
Well-being. Okay, so just to top it off real quick, essentially, I found out after 2 hours they're not taking a break. So I waited till in between songs and I went up and I'm like, Jim, you guys sound amazing. Like, there's something different about an acoustic performance where you get an opportunity to shine a little bit vocally that you get lost in a live show, right, with all the other things going on. But also, his lead guitar playing on acoustic was fun, like incredible, as good as I've ever seen in my life. It was spectacular. So I went up to just be like, hey, man, I just want you guys to know that you guys are killing it. This is the best thing I've ever seen here. And they're like, you want to sing Freebird? And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna. He's like, well, I said, well, just let me know, And I turn around to walk away, and I start playing it. And I'm like, F, because now everybody thinks I walked up there to ask him if I could sing, and that was not what I did.
That was not my intention.
I was like, I don't need no spotlight. I just wanted you guys to know how good you were. Like, I was getting lost in it by the end of the night. They were awesome. So, how about you? How's your week?
Before we do that, I am without comments, and I saw a bunch of stuff pop up. You want to say some hellos real quick? Because I know you're not acclimated to it.
Miss Chris Scales, the denier, that says that she doesn't know the name of the show that she watches every week live on Sunday morning. Hello to Marcy Curcio. We had a great time with you and John last night. Hey, Johnny's in here too. So
yeah.
we had a great time. I felt a little bit bad last night. John is the king of busting balls.
No, not John.
And usually I take it easy because I'm not really good at knowing where that line is from participating and giving back to just seeming like a complete D.
Yeah. Lines are really not your thing.
Yeah, that's not.
No.
So usually I take it pretty easy, but I was hammering him a little bit last night, and I was even a little preemptive on some of it, and it was I think I caught him off guard, but it was a great time. We had fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You asked about my week.
I did.
I have nothing exciting to report. Like, all the stuff that I'm excited about is all stupid spreadsheet stuff that nobody cares about. So I'm just not going to go into it.
That's fair, because Shannon isn't here yet. But when Shannon jumps on, that's when you need to start talking about because she loves that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's her jam.
Yeah,
Spreadsheets get her excited.
Not me, bud.
Yeah.
I despise it, but I spent all day Wednesday on the phone with QuickBooks or in a spreadsheet. It was terrible, but it's done. So, hi, stranger.
Can I say one little thing about John on here without? I think I'll be okay. I think he'd laugh and enjoy it. So, they were giving me crap for not wearing a kilt last night because I wore one at the show, right? And they're like, what happened to the kilt? And I like explain to them, like, you ever look up in the urinal while you're peeing? That's like one of the best things. You get to the next stretch and you're just like, ah. Well, it works different when you got a kilt. And my angle hadn't been properly adjusted for that. So the kilt got wet. I had to change it that day and get on the shorts. And he's like laughing and cutting up. And in the middle of trying to cut up on me for doing so, which, like, I'm being real honest about it at least. You know what I mean? I don't wear a lot of skirts. During, he starts talking back, and his physical ability just ran out, and this line of drool
just went
from his mouth to his belly. This big stream of it just came out, and I'm like, well, who can't control their fluids now, John? It was wonderful. I had a great time with those guys. I love them very much.
Yeah.
Trey,
how was your week, buddy?
By
the way, we have Trey Mack on the show. You guys have seen him enough. I apologize for the lack of introduction, but
we should actually stop referring to him because they don't know him as that name. His name is the Honey Badger.
Yeah, he is.
The Badger's back.
The Badger's back in town.
Yeah, now, I don't know if this would help you on the kilt, but it definitely helped the guys, and maybe this is what they were doing at the concert. You've seen the... Okay.
And so you're always with us here, buddy.
Where
did
this come from?
That's somebody booted it. I don't remember who. Do you?
I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, BGD.
Yeah.
So
It's awesome.
It's actually funny because you put the three of us in a row, we look like Russian nesting dolls.
That's awesome. I need that to go with the whack monkey.
Yeah.
Have the badger and the whack monkey in the car. We'll be good.
Ryan Seneca.
Anyway, no.
Sam's trying to read Seneca's comment, but he can't because Seneca's not here to give him his cell phone, so he can. So
Wow.
I mean, he is stopping and picking it up, so I'm not going to give him too much crap because he is
I got
going
it.
out of his way for me.
I'll take care of it.
Well, the worst part about it is Ryan had I guess Brittany contacted me and Ryan.
Yeah.
That was her instruction.
But Ryan got a hold of Brittany first, and I called, and I'm like, yeah, I'll come get it on the way because I drive past your house to get
So
here.
does he.
Yeah.
That's why.
He reached out to both. But the plus side is, since Ryan won, we're not starting this show an additional 10 or 15 minutes later.
Yeah, it'd have been another 10 minutes.
Back to Trey.
Yeah, so if you don't
Forgot you were here.
if you don't know about these things, they're fantastic. The tailgate condom. No?
What the?
Yeah.
You all live different in Kentucky or wherever it is you're from.
So,
Is that
no,
where you're
it's
from?
like-
You're Kentucky, right?
Well, I'm not from there, but I live
You live
there,
there.
periodically.
Poor-
from time to time.
Poor state.
Like 17 days this year, I think I was in Kentucky.
You've
Yeah,
had a
so
rough
far.
time. Condoms. Let's
But
go.
yeah, so no, it's for like situations like tailgating or maybe doing a concert where you don't really have a chance to go to the bathroom. So it's this giant condom, and you put it down your pants, and then it attaches in the bottom of your shoe, and you can go whenever you need to
Isn't
go,
that
buddy.
like
Just
the
like
truckers,
fills up as you get.
the truckers
That's
delight or
the
something?
most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's basically just a colostomy bag for lazy people.
But they have a word for it that doesn't have to do with poop. But here's the big problem I have, and it's actually a little problem.
Your leg's only this big?
No,
Can't hold that much pee?
what if it's not about the legs? It's what if I'm not big enough to fill the thing and it just pops off?
That would be a problem.
It'd be a concern.
That'd
You know
be,
what I mean?
That'd be a bit of an issue.
Yeah. That's why they have catheters. You know,
You could cath.
You
Yeah.
could cath up, throw a balloon in there.
cathing
Yeah.
ain't easy, but it saves the kilt. You know.
Okay.
So how's your week been?
It's been great. I always like coming out here. I think you guys all know that. And I'm ready for the Haktua holiday.
Oh,
We're living in a new age.
you're a week late.
No,
on
we're
that
not.
One.
It's the Cash Me Outside Girl 2.0.
He
That's all this is.
hates it so much.
I hate it. I'm so tired of seeing
I
it.
want to marry her right now.
Listen, that's all. That's all.
Here's the problem: her forehead isn't that big.
No, it's pretty good.
It's suitable.
I also
it's good enough for the badger.
I embrace it, buddy. The title of the episode again, episode 123, Ballad of the Honey Badger. In the description, the boys hang at the shop, smoke blah 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 blah, with the foremost expert on foreheads.
I'm down.
Yeah, I was the only I was
Scratch
trying to
out
think
forehead,
like the Sultan.
make it 5.
Yeah,
I love that girl. She's got my heart.
well,
Yeah, I'm sure it's your heart that's leading you towards that.
Oh,
So-
that's the accent.
it's a blood related organ.
Yeah.
Speaking of, this is like the only podcast I ever do where there's always the possibility of the morning erection. 'Cause it's
Well, thank
It's
you.
early, you know.
We're a good-looking group of guys.
That's
nobody's
not
gonna-
where I was going with that.
Eric
but,
certainly
you know,
wouldn't fault you. I
Yeah,
think that's
you-
his Sunday morning tradition as well.
We know about his forehead addiction already, so you might need to start wearing a hat.
You and Eric should start a podcast and call it Foreheads and Foreskins.
I mean, I want to say I'm in. I don't really know where that's going. But,
You're in. You're in.
I'm
Let's
in.
go.
Urine?
Urine?
Are we back to that one? Jason, how was your week?
Unimportant. That's how my week was.
So, what are we smoking?
Seneca calls that a regular condom. I don't know what we're smoking, but if Jason plays the commercial, I could gather my thoughts while we find out. Brought to you by Just a Tip Cigars. It's time for the Cigar of the Week, brought to you by Just a Tip Cigars. Are you looking for the best selection of boutique cigars? Do you want the tried and true legacy brands that are synonymous with the cigar lifestyle? Do you want luxurious cutters, lighters, and other accessories? Do you want to relax in the most comfortable cigar lounge in the burg? Then you want Just the Tip Cigars.
Conveniently located in the Bavarian Village Shopping Center in South Park, Pennsylvania, Just a Tip Cigars has been tailor-built to your smoking needs. Whether you visit in person or on the web at justatipcigars.com, when it comes to cigars, Just a Tip is the whole package.
Hey, Trey, do me a favor. It's a family show. Don't play with yourself on the camera. I look over, and you're doing something with your teeth that reminds me of what dogs do to each other on their neck to, like, scratch.
Yeah.
And then he starts just going while the commercial's playing, and it's wild. Hi, Mom.
Thank you.
Where were we? Ah, yes.
Cigar of the week brought to you by Just Tip
Cigar.
Cigars.
I got to tell you, first of all, sad announcement. I'm out of tequila. We can remedy that after the show, but I am feeling great. And having the honey badger here is a great way to start my vacation. It's a good time. I appreciate that.
Right.
We are actually smoking the Olmec Claro. This is a Foundation Cigars, Nick Malolo, previously of.
Drew Estate.
There you go. I thought you were going to be a little faster on the trigger.
I thought you were going to finish it. I was like,
I usually finish early. I thought you'd help me out. Yeah, so it is a San Andreas Claro. Oh, first of all, it's a 6x52 Toro, San Andreas Claro wrapper, and a Nicaraguan binder and filler. Let's talk about that. What is Olmec? Named for the civilization that once predated the Mayan. Once. I don't think you can once predate. You just do. That predated the Mayans and Aztecs. The full-bodied blend celebrates the San Andreas. Thank you. Oh, I thought that was your coffee cup. Celebrates the San Andreas leaf native to the lands of the former Olmec tribes in southern Mexico. To create such a flavorful blend, Nick specifically chose to feature specifically selected Nicaraguan fillers from Esteli and Jalapa that have been aged for 3 years before being used in production. These filler tobaccos are then bound in a Nicaraguan binder and wrapped in either a Mexican San Andreas Negro leaf or a Mexican San Andreas Claro leaf, which we are smoking currently. The San Andreas Negro leaf is slightly more powerful than the Claro version, but both offer a variety of tasting notes like cocoa, espresso, and spice that remain balanced. I don't know about any of that, but it's a good way to start a Sunday morning. This is a great cigar.
Interestingly
this
enough,
isn't the powerful one. I need to have the other one.
Interestingly enough, the where the tobacco comes from, that region of Mexico, this is considered the oldest tobacco seed in the world.
Ooh.
really?
It is. Yeah, the seed variety is considered one of the oldest seed varieties in the world. Olmec cigars contain the finest Nicaraguan filler tobaccos.
Look at you adding to the show over there.
A little something there. I digs it.
I actually read a lot about this cigar last night because I was like, Olmec, that's like down in, I wondered why he got the name.
Was that the name of the thing from the Hidden Temple
Legends
show?
of the Hidden Temple. Yeah.
Was that
Shout out
the
Green
big-
Monkeys.
You mean the Whack Monkeys?
Well, you know, they're the same tribe, you know, cousins.
Same. They were just the outcasts. You know,
Yes.
couldn't keep it in their grass skirts. I
Yeah,
think.
that was the
name,
Olmec, yeah.
The name of the head was
the-
Olmec.
Dude, that
Yeah.
thing. Yo, there's like some behind the scenes stuff of that show. It's super interesting to watch because like the kids, you got little kids running around being terrified by like half naked dudes like jumping out of corners.
This is getting real weird real
Big-
fast.
Yeah, big like animatronic heads and stuff. Like that show scarred a lot of young people in their
Like the people that were on the
It was a
show?
good one.
Like the people that were on the
like
show were actually
contestants.
freaked out.
They actually talk about like how insanely difficult that was to like get through those courses and all that stuff. It's very interesting.
Bring back challenge shows for
Yes.
kids, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want to
Let's
see a
start
little kid
scarring
get whacked in
kids
the head
again.
with jousting.
Legends of the Hidden Temple, Double Dare.
Oh, Double Dare's great.
Do you guys remember Guts?
Oh, yeah.
Guts is good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's step it up too. Like, let's make it adult as well. Let's bring back American Gladiators.
Let's
do
American
it.
Gladiators.
Like, let's shoot some tennis balls at some people at 85 miles an
Hell
hour.
when
yes.
when Husto decides to reach into his bank account, his pocketbook, and really go like, this is the show I want to support. That's where our money's going. Tennis ball guns and slime reservoirs.
What if we did this, though? We take all those former kids that were scarred from the show, bring them back, but then, like, up the ante, like 10x,
yeah.
and just let them
you gonna
relive
pay
their
for
hell.
their
At that point, let's just
medication?
Squid Games it.
I'm in.
It's like taking Vietnam veterans, putting them out in the jungle, and then just shooting off a bunch of guns.
Charlie, oh no. Yeah, it's messed up. I mean, I don't know why you would come out with that. Yeah, man, that's pretty brutal. I don't know what you're doing. The first thing I imagine is me trying to navigate Legends of the Hidden Temple with slime everywhere on my cane because I have no good knees left, and it just feels like it would not be. Hey, you want some popsicles? Hey, my beautiful, lovely. Light of my life, my wife, Shannon is here with us now. So you can go back to your spreadsheet talk.
I've worked on a lot of spreadsheets. I don't know what you want from me.
Congratulations on being All-American. How do you feel? I've got to pay.
I have to pay.
I think he said he has to pee.
I think he said
Must have had me 14 Dr. Peppers.
It bit me directly on the buttocks.
So I have some questions for you.
For me.
Turtle
For
wax.
you.
Turtle
Okay,
wax.
bring it.
All right, so we've mockingly sorted through it over the different times of having you on here, but like in like one clear, concise,
Foreheads?
mostly uninterrupted version of it. How did you go from tobacco shop to rep?
Okay.
I'm trying to like do it.
Yeah, have I never gone over that or?
Oh, you have, but we're gonna not completely
It's gonna
just
be
like
concise.
mock it this time.
No, I mean the easy thing is that Justo, he went to K-State University, and I had a shop at the University of Kansas, so not too far away. And when Aladino was launching, when Justo came back to really help launch Aladino, he decided to go back to K-State, but there was no cigar shop out there, so he came to my place, and I didn't know who he was, and I'd had a day where I was tired of reps. So
If you can't beat him, join him.
Yeah, so I just went to the office and shut the door. Didn't want to talk to this guy walking in. The manager convinced me to try Lancero. I shut the door again, started smoking it, got about a third into it, was like, this is incredible, came out, said, I want everything that you make. This is fantastic. It's good because they only made one cigar.
Which one was it?
It was the whole all the Cuban sizes of the Corojo and all
Okay.
that. That's what they started with, and then we just became best friends, like legit. I was out of the industry for a couple of years. He still came out to hang out, just as friends, and then one day he called me saying, "Oh boy, the Green Monkeys are not happy about this."
Jesus Christ, in Italy.
No, and they called me and said, we're growing, but there's 13 states that we don't really have anything going in. So I was like, this is not what I wanted to do.
I wanted
That
to
was
do
when
this
I
stuff.
made a promise, and I really had no other excuse. I had no family or anything to really take care of. So on the road, I decided to go, and here we are.
You really handcuffed me on this, not mocking him.
I know.
Because all I want to do is call him Trey Aladino Seed. It doesn't roll off the tongue
No,
like
it
Johnny
doesn't.
Appleseed.
Yeah.
No, that
But
is not.
that's when I think of like the
Just
13 states.
spreading-
You just roll it around just like with a sack
Dropping-
of
yeah.
Aladino.
Sometimes you get the bear, sometimes the bear gets you.
Yeah.
So what's
Not if you played that card game. The bear always wins.
Oh, that, yeah.
so
You
what
can't
is
mess
it?
with that bear.
Is it like Cocaine Bear? Like,
No, it was a board game that we played that he made reference to that nobody else will get.
That'd be a great expansion, though. The bear gets cocaine, moves double the spaces.
thank you.
The actual cocaine bear is stuffed not too far from where I live. The real cocaine bear.
Why'd you stuff him?
I didn't stuff him with anything. Don't start that.
I'm trying real hard to be good, but when everybody else is quiet, you guys are just going to hear my inner dialogue. I mean, I don't know what else to
terrifying.
tell you.
It's
Then you
terrifying.
turned it right off instead of going to the live.
What is
Sam.
a normal day in the life of a rep? And what is your day compared to other reps that you know? Because I know you have additional responsibilities compared to like a general rep or
Because aren't you like,
Something like
aren't
that.
you? Isn't your title national sales manager or
I
something?
don't really have a title, and this goes for like everybody in our company right
HB,
now.
DC.
Yeah, like even like Andrea and Vivi's title makes more sense. She's pretty much in charge of everything outside the U.S., so her title makes sense. But even like Andrea's title is not at all what she does. I mean, we're doing everything, all of us. So, but we are going to probably this year sit down and make it like more official for everybody. And because we've grown so fast, but we're still mom and pop in it, and those days have to end. And pretty soon, because we're all being stretched too thin. So this is your actual role. Follow it.
Yeah.
And that's it. But yeah,
I got to talk to Husto for you. We'll get you a title, buddy. All I really want is your business card. Trey Mac Shipley. I'm down in the bottom corner. HBDC. If you know, you know.
So what's a normal day?
Normal day, Husto likes to call super early in the morning.
How do you feel about that?
Well,
Especially with the tradition you were speaking of earlier.
yeah.
Well played.
He likes to call. You never know between. He's gotten better at this, by the way. Shout out Husto for getting better at this. Between 5:30 and 9, there'd be a call.
5:30 hurts.
Yeah, that's when he wakes up at 5 and gets out of the shower and has things on his mind. Like
I was at a shop until 1 o'clock in the morning. Can I please just rest?
Yeah,
Also, I'm at like 3 time zones away, maybe.
Yeah.
that definitely happens. Or when he's in Europe,
Yeah.
which he's been in Europe for like 2 months this year.
Oh no.
The time zone thing is
No,
not.
it's not. Yeah, it does. It's not a calculation that he does. Fortunately for you, you are most comfortable doing your business while doing your business, as we know from previous.
You
phone
found
calls.
that out firsthand.
Yes, that's correct.
Really thought you guys were joking when that was happening. But,
No.
Here we are.
You were live,
Yep.
and we're not letting it go.
No, but I was.
Well, I mean, that's your bad. That's your bad for not knowing time zones either, because you knew when we did the show.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And another one of those issues happened to me last week, and I'm paying the price for that one now as well. So 2 shows have gotten me.
Yes.
That one didn't get me on the throne, but I didn't know I was live when I answered the phone. And they said, hey, they do an Ask the Boys sort of thing, call in with questions. And somebody called in and said,
Homelander, what should I do?
they said, I hear Trey Mac likes to kiss boys and wear thong underwear. And like, so what do you have to say about that? I
We all
don't know that I'm actually on air. I think I'm talking to my buddy. And I'm like, this has to be somebody I know pulling a prank on me. He's like, why? I go, well, I don't kiss boys, but somebody obviously knows me way too well because there's a whole history of thongs in my, like, that's a big part of my life. And he's like, well, expand upon that. So I just like,
So that's the reason for the picture I saw on Facebook.
that is. And then
He sleeps like what do they call that? A mobile above the cradle, just a bunch of thongs hanging there and spinning in circles.
yeah, and I didn't know, but I found out I got calls from people in California, Texas, Delaware, and I was like, what are you talking about? How do you know this? Like, it's on the show. Like,
Yeah, it's like 7 a.m. in Germany. Who's calling you? What's up with this thong underwear thing? What have I told you?
yeah. So those are two proud moments on podcasts now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So your day ends at 9 o'clock in the morning with a Husto call?
Yeah, that's when things just I'm done for the rest of the day after that.
So the rep life is tough.
Yeah.
Slow learner.
And
he asked for a day in a life. You're getting it. You know what I mean?
So it's usually a normal day is 10 to 10, like on the road.
Yeah.
Usually store opens at 10. You want to be respectful. It's never a good idea to go into a store right as they open. Just not a good idea. So you wait till about 10:30ish, and you have your first. I don't know. Like, to me, it's just this is a community business. Like, the whole business is based on community. So I'm not coming in to get a sale like immediately. That's not my goal. My goal is to just hang out with friends, right? And we'll build things from there. It's different in different parts of the country, though. You go to the East Coast, and it's like, no, come in, get your business done, get out. Midwest, totally opposite of that. You talk about an order at the very end of your visit. Not like that so much on the East Coast. But, yeah, I'll just do that. And the normal goal is to hit 5 stores in a day. And the last place you hang out, typically goes till, 10 o'clock at night. And then you have a million phone calls in between, pulling over on the side of the road, pulling over into parking lots, doing orders or talking about company issues, things that need to take place. So you're working like in your car nonstop. And then sometimes you get back to the hotel and you got to work on your computer because you haven't been at the computer all day. So it's
And
a
pop-up banners keep coming up, and you're like, I know, I gotta
yeah,
focus.
not another one of these. Click, click, click. But no, in fact, recently we had an issue where Justo came back from the Middle East and was sick, and we had 2 really big events, like 10 grand events apiece, right?
Yeah.
Like, so Justo kind of needs to be at those, but he's like legit, like bad sick, has no voice, everything. So I'm like, girls, somebody's got to get on a plane.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, and that family got some good genetics. If you
They-
got to
they
call
do.
some girls out, those are the ones to call.
they're very nice.
Very, very pretty people in that Aroa family.
Okay, I can't
You
say
just-
too much in
just-
that regard.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
You
I-
just,
it was-
me there.
just cuffed him like
Yep.
that. Like, it's done.
I apologize because I meant that from like.
He meant it-
If you don't know, if okay,
That was
if the
respectful for
Aladino
Corey.
team is watching, that was like the highest level of respect that I could come across, and just be like, no man, like, well, you know,
Yeah.
they're wow,
you meant
look
it
at
well.
you guys. Yeah.
So they fly out for events every once in a while, like fly in, do the event, fly back out.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was like, no, got one event on a Tuesday and another on like Friday, both huge. Kind of got to be on the road with me for a while.
Yeah, we're working.
So they got to experience like life actually on the road, and there's 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and they got their laptops out working
They didn't
while we're
have to ride
driving,
in
and they're
your-
like, "How
and
do you,
you- they
know, how do
ride
you
in
do
your
this?"
car?
Oh yeah.
They're like, what's up with all the stuffed monkeys and underwear?
Well, luckily for them, I trashed my car like 6 weeks ago.
You told me this.
So I was in
last
a
night. Poor
rental.
bastard.
Every time you're here, you do understand. Every time you're here, you have a story of how you've trashed your car.
Well,
right?
this one was bad though.
Oh yeah,
no.
there was another life form involved in this one. Usually it's just him by himself doing
Yeah.
things with.
Yeah, no,
Scorpions.
it was Mother's Day, and I was driving back to Kansas in the middle of the night, and this is somewhere either southern Indiana, southern Illinois. They cross a million times in that area somewhere. Cruise set at 80, and Deer just decided today was the day,
He's off at himself.
and I never even had time. And I think good thing I didn't have time to put on the brakes, so the nose didn't dip down at all.
Yeah.
So I hit this thing full on 80 miles an hour, and the Deer just went straight up and over.
Up and away.
Was not a good day for me. I ended up laying in a ditch in the middle of nowhere for 5 hours. And then it was not fun. Got my 7th concussion.
Oh,
So that was
nice.
awesome. Yeah.
I
7th
thought you
recorded.
seemed a little
7th
more
recorded. God knows how
a little
many.
more on point today. That explains it.
Yeah, I know. Like it just hit the reset button, and I'm like,
So I've hit a few deer, and they've all been very recent. But the one that I clobbered it on a country road at 6 p.m. daylight in Ohio. And I'm like, oh, at least I wasn't going too fast. And that's what I'm thinking as I come to a full stop. And I feel terrible about this. I'm laughing, but best drive I ever had in my life. That deer went so far.
yeah.
It just kept rolling and
Yeah.
rolling and then jumping up and rolling and rolling. That deer must have won another 75 yards after I came to a full stop. And I was only doing 40 to start with. Einstein, man, that transition of mass and momentum,
Yeah.
So I do have a serious question because I imagine myself, first of all, we appreciate about you is that you're happy to come in here and smoke somebody else's brand, which is cool.
Always, totally
and
cool.
that kind of leads me into my question. I feel like if I was doing what you're doing and I'm moving around the country so often in other cigar shops, maybe not everybody does this, but you got into this trade because you're a cigar geek,
Yeah.
right? Like we are. And I would imagine in your shoes, as excited as I would be to sell the product that I am, a cool part would be to go into different local shops and be like, hey,
Yeah.
man, do you have a house brand? Do you have something that's specific to this area? Do you find yourself doing that at all?
100%. I've got one section of my cooler that's just for stuff I pick up along the road.
That's cool, man.
Or that even other reps, every time we see each other, we exchange things. And I think it's
STDs.
Yes. No. No, I think it's important to always exercise your palate, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
Trey, was there ever a house brand that you tasted and were like, and was like, wow, this is the best house brand I've ever had?
I'm going to say something without saying too much.
Okay, cool.
We had one at our store in Kansas that right before we decided to close shop, we were settling a deal to do this certain house blend. And it's been on this top 25 cigar list twice now.
Nice.
Cool.
So they pay for that advertising, huh?
You might. Still a good cigar, but it probably not as good as it's been rated. We'll put it that way.
Well,
but
is anything on those lists?
I'm not going there.
Yeah.
But
Trey's
does-
that's like insider baseball. We're trying to pull out of him.
Jonah Hill over here.
Seneca had a nice little comment that he just showed me. So you were stuck there for 5 hours. Did you have a tailgate condom?
no, but you're in Southern Illinois, like everything's a
You're good to
urinal.
go. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like,
The question is, was your thong dry at the end? You know.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, we were good there, but my guts were not. I mean, I was black from like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. No bueno.
Ow.
yeah, and
Were you
the-
conscious for the full 5 hours, or were you? Kinda
Oh yeah,
out?
no, I was fine. I mean, when I got out of the car, I thought like nothing was wrong with me. I thought I was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And in fact, I didn't feel bad until like the next day when I woke up. Then I was like, and I was calling people, letting them know, like, and there was lots of people I talked to. A lot of friends were like, "Dude, you sound like you're drunk right now." And I'm like, "No, I'm fine. What are you talking about?"
Sounds like a normal phone call.
And then
with
as
me
the
and you.
the next 2 days when I'm like stupid.
This is a problem.
Yeah, there's
Dude, the
nothing.
same thing happened when ended up going off a drop in my truck and thought I was fine.
And then
Tore a bunch of tendons,
Not
dislocated my pelvis, didn't even
Yeah.
realize it.
you had no idea when it happened, though.
Nope. Nah, it's wild. So what's your thoughts on this guy so far?
This has been first of all, there's a lot of stuff we come into here and smoke on the show. One of the things I love about the show is it introduces me to stuff that I may have not otherwise tried or just didn't know about, didn't have an opportunity to smoke. Honestly, I wasn't aware of this brand from Foundation yet.
Oh, wow.
Which I probably should be, since we do a cigar news segment every week, and I probably covered
I
at
was
one
gonna say,
point,
and
but
we
it gets
talked about
it gets a little lost. There are a few manufacturers that are really high up on my list. Aladino, Oscar Valadares, and anybody that previously had tenure at Drew Estate. And I think very highly of Nick Melillo and love Foundation stuff. This is amazing right out of the gate. Like when I started putting two and two together and realized this was a Foundation stick whenever I was doing the notes, I got excited.
Yeah.
And even coming in here with a high bar, this is really good. And this isn't even the dark version. So I'd be excited to try the Negra. But, man, this is a great stick all the way through. The construction is perfect. It's amazing. I'm smoking a little slow, so I'm a bit flat. But you can see how well that's burning. And construction obviously is perfect, just like you would expect it to be. But the flavor is really good. It's in your face. It's not stupid overwhelming. There's no pressure on my chest, you know, for being a Sunday morning drinking and not really having much in my stomach. A great time, I think. You?
Dude, so this is the first time I've had this one as well. I had the Maduro previously. I think I like this better than the Maduro. I think the Maduro is a lot more in your face, a lot more, it's delivering a lot more to you directly. But I like the subtleties of this one. And this is going to sound dumb, but the wrapper feels awesome.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
it just, I don't know.
The texture.
Yeah, it just has a unique texture to it. I mean, there's a lot of them out there with similar qualities, but it doesn't make me think of what I'm about to say. It's nothing like that, but like Davidoff's another one. Like a lot of their real light stuff, the wrappers are just smooth and soft, and like this has that kind of quality, even though it is. I mean, San Andreas tobacco. Like that's you think when you hear San Andreas, you think toothy. You
For
think
sure.
I think
rough
that
and all
probably.
that.
I assume the Negra would be more indicative of that, but I don't know.
But it's still it's not like this.
No.
I mean, they're two different cigars for sure.
Intense yet
Completely.
delicate.
I'm
Completely.
trying to think of who this is for, though. Like,
Okay,
you know,
I do have one thing I want to bounce back in there. The retro, I don't know if this is going to make sense to anybody but me because I'm in my own place. The retro has like a heat to it without being spicy, without a burn. A heat without burn.
that's really well stated.
It
Yeah.
is. It's wild. It's very interesting. But man, it's there. It's good. It's great.
Yeah, I think it, and I'm a retro just about every puff, and this has, like, it pushes the limits of your retro without ever crossing over.
Thank you. Yeah, no. So you said it's not the first time you had it. What was your thoughts the first time versus having had it a couple times now?
No, I'm a huge fan. I'm a big fan of, like, in fact, I said the Olmec has been my favorite release. There hasn't been a lot of new cigars over the last 3 years that have really grabbed me, but
Yeah.
the Olmec definitely has.
Which is wild because like the last 3 years we've had a lot of releases, right? Like FDA regulations, the looming cloud kind of dropped off, and all of a sudden you see another resurgence and stuff coming out, which has been awesome. There's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff coming out, so like,
Yeah, but
for
nothing's
you to
really
put it
grabbed
up
me.
there.
This
There's a lot of.
For sure. And I think a lot of it is because I do retro so much, and this one's always been one that it pushes the retro limits, but you can do it the whole time. It's a nice retro.
Well, that kind of comes back to what I'm saying, right? Like it's got the heat.
It's there.
It's warm and it's like a little bit intense, but you don't have that like water up your nose
No.
feeling that you usually get with a super intense retro, right? Like it's there and then it's gone.
Yeah.
It doesn't overwhelm you or start to break you down over time where you're like, maybe I'm going to spread these out a little bit.
I think like for me, a lot of the time with retros, like, have you smoked the Placencia 149? Did you smoke that one yet? The 149?
I'm not sure.
It starts off strong, like it comes right off the bat, and the retro on it is a little bit oppressive. It's really good, but there's a lot there. So with stuff like that, or the Octane's another one that gets me like on the retro really, really hard. I find myself retro, and instead of 20% of the last little of the smoke that I brought in, then just take it down to like a 5 or a 10. Like because
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like I retro almost every time,
Yep.
but it's how much of it. And like this
Yeah.
one, I am not worried about it whatsoever. But it does teeter that line of wanting to do it. So it's I don't know. It's intense without being over the top.
So Ryan Seneca says he's had the Maduro and it's phenomenal. And I'm absolutely need to try that cigar.
If we can find them.
They're hard
Yeah,
to
I was
find.
going to say that was my next question was, do you have it? And I guess not based on that answer. I'm curious here. And before you answer me, I'm going to put out my guess because I want to know approximately the Paper Lincolns. And I'm going to make a little bit of an educated guess based on knowing Foundation's price point for like a high-end premium. Hey, you go look it up.
I have to look it
He
up.
doesn't even know.
I haven't put them on the shelf yet.
Oh, okay.
So
So I'm thinking, and this is like bordering on like super premium, I would say. If I had to guess where this price point is, I'm gonna say probably around 16. How close am I?
you're in the range. It actually, the number I had in my head was spot on. Now I don't know if that's because obviously I paid for them and I knew it at some point. But you know what they run?
I was going to say $14 to $15.
Yeah, 14 and a half.
Yeah.
That's good
yeah.
because
Which is
this
right where it should be.
When 16, it seems to be like
a marker.
yeah, like if you have stuff that used to be in that 8 to 10 range, it's down to the 10 to 12 range, right? I think I expect 10 to 12 for like an average or slightly above average Toro, and I
Yeah.
think most like the high range of what I'm usually happy and willing to pay on occasion for something in that category, the Reserva being a great example of that, is usually in that neighborhood. And I would put this in that neighborhood of being like, okay, here's your regular lines and stuff. I'm like, here's the Tabernacle and here's, Charter Oak, which is down a little bit lower. And, Highclere Castle is obviously their top end, and that's a great price point
Oh,
for
yeah.
this.
Let's,
Honestly, it's actually a little bit of a value because I think 16 would be
So-
acceptable.
One of the rules, so I'm training Jason now, so I had to
Not that Jason.
not that Jason, another Jason,
The good Jason.
Yeah, and so I had to. It's weird. There's stuff that when you hire somebody, you have to put into words that you didn't think like it just
Yeah.
wasn't inherent before, and not we didn't have an issue and like all of a sudden I had to handle it. It was just like teach them stuff. I'm like, hey, the way I want to run things here, I don't ever want to recommend somebody a cigar over $15 unless you know it's going to fit their palate.
For
Now,
sure.
like if somebody's coming in looking for something, that's different. But like the average person who's coming in on a daily basis, keep your recommendations at or under 15.
Which is a good way to build a relationship
Yeah.
and trust, and then you can move up from there. But especially like if that cigar doesn't hit,
Yeah. Now you've lost some credibility and all that. And like a lot of what I do is, I get a lot of Macanudo white, Perdomo, champagne smoker, stuff like that. And the first couple visits people come in here, I'm really, really conscious of, I try and downsell you. So like price point conscious, like, hey, you came in here and asked me for a $10 or $11 cigar. Let's try the Tavascan. Like, what, it's
Yeah.
$7.80 for a Toro. I have no problem
smoke it
downselling you
backward.
because I want you to get what you want and not focus on that side of it. Like, some point I'm gonna tell you, like, look, you need to try the Super Mesa Brulee Blue. You need to try this stick. If you love the Tavascan, you got to try this
try
guy
this.
too.
and that
But
might
we'll get there.
be a little counterintuitive for like a salesperson,
Right.
if that's what you're doing.
Is it
But
really though?
I was going somewhere, but you're not trying to sell one cigar. You're trying to
Yeah.
secure a customer,
Yeah.
and build a trust level and a relationship with them. And it's funny because this is the opposite end of my point because they were shady, but it reminds me of like the Wolf of Wall Street,
Yeah.
where it's like, no, start them off with something, to build the trust and be like, I want you to judge me on my losers, not my winners, because I have so few.
Yeah.
If it's somebody like
Whew,
that,
Margot Robbie.
it's a good scene.
They're all good scenes.
Well, there's one anyway.
Yeah.
The-
It's like the mobile over your bed.
It is. Little music playing. Ding, 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 ding. Anyway. Okay.
So
stop.
we all got caught up on Margot
Fantasizing.
Robbie. Sorry.
Yeah. No, the whole reason I'm in this business was because of a retailer like that.
Really?
I started smoking. I'm not going to name the names because of what I'm about to say next, but a very basic Connecticut cigar because I thought cigars were what cool people did, and I was in business school.
You were right.
So, yeah, I was totally right. So every Friday night, I would buy one of these. I would go to the same lounge, and I would buy one of these very basic Connecticut's. I did this for 2 straight years, every Friday. I walk in, and finally the guy running the place goes, Jack, I just got to ask you, you've been doing this for, like, too long. And I'm like, what? And he's like, tell me what kind of food you like.
Yeah.
And I go, oh man, I'm into like spicy
He said
food,
all of it?
Cajun food. Right. Like, I was actually in really good shape back then, so I wasn't like a table champion like I am now.
Table champion.
Yeah.
I like that.
That was good.
I very much. I'm gonna get a bib.
Y'all, for sure. This is table champ.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's go.
But so he gives me La Flor Dominicana L500. Now I don't
Okay.
know
Okay.
shit.
Lejero.
I don't even know. Like the whole time I was smoking cigars, I didn't get it. Like I just thought
You
this
owe
is
us a
fine and
quarter.
cool people do this. And I go home and I start smoking this L500, and I was like, "What?
There's a whole nother world.
Like what? Like my taste buds were alive, and I was like,
Level up.
holy shit!" So I go back. Like after I get done smoking, I go right back, and I must have been pale, and I was sweaty. Like I remember sweating smoking that cigar, and I must have been pale because when I walked in, he goes, if that was too much, like, dude, I'll hook you up. Like, don't worry about it.
Trey said, "No, I need another
That's what
one
I
and
did.
a Snickers
So I
bar."
looked at him. I'm like, I'm here for another one.
Yeah.
And that changed my entire life, literally. That one, because he took one interest, asked one question, and just pushed me a little bit, changed my entire life.
I have one customer. He comes in, he grabs, what was it at the time? It was 2 Lot 23 Connecticut's. He'd come in, get 2 Lot 23 Connecticut's, and leave. And after like 3 or 4 times him coming in, he drives a very unique car. So like as soon as he'd pull up, I just go get him.
Like the Urkel car?
No, like a very, very, very nice
Like a
car.
DeLorean.
Oh.
Not quite, but and so
Let's just say it's got 3 flux capacitors.
All right, I figure out what it is. Yeah.
But so like every time he would come in, he would get these same 2. And then finally I was like, hey, I thought about this. I want you to try this cigar. I said, I generally go in the humidor and like work through stuff with people, but I want you to give this one a shot. Mm-hmm. And I gave him, I think it was a Tatiscan. And I'm like, hey, here's your normal one, and then here's that one. Like I brought your 2 out. If you don't want to try it, like no hard feelings, all that. He came back in, and he ended up taking all 3. He's like, I'll try it, fine. He comes back in, he's like, you know what? Every time I come in, give me one of the Lot 23s, and just keep giving me new stuff. He's like, that was really cool. So like we went through all the Connecticut's and then a couple Sungrens, and he's like, there's my limit. I'm like, cool. Step back.
Yep.
And it's been fun to watch like the rapport build with customers because I actually do care. Like I like seeing people's face when they get a cigar that like wows them.
I mean, you do the same thing with me the other day, or when was I here?
If this is going to be about which flavor lube tastes the best, we can keep that conversation for after the show.
I walked into the humidor, and he runs over, grabs a Diablo, and he was like, you got to try this. And I was like, okie dokie.
Yep.
Because every time I walk into that humidor,
sorry, I have to step away for a second. Excuse me.
every time I walk into that humidor, I do not go in there with the intention. I don't have a cigar in mind when I walk into the humidor.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that, even if I know the humidor, man, I go in there, especially if I don't have Sam, like, because Sam's different, right? Sam likes to be there with every customer when they go in to assist, which is awesome. But, like, especially if there's nobody, like, waiting on me, I have to look at everything they have before I can make a selection. I can't not do it because it's like there might be something I hadn't, that wasn't here last time. There might be something that I overlooked before, and like I need to take a complete inventory of what's available to me before I can make a selection. But some just great experiences. That especially like a new place, dude. I'll be in a humidor for a half an hour before I pick a cigar because I don't know what's in here, and I need to know every single cigar in your inventory before I make a selection.
I totally get that. I look around at everything, every store I go into.
What could you be leaving on the table? You know what I mean? You might there might be something
there's some
there
goodies.
That's like I think of when we went to Blend, the original blend, the good blend, and Indy. And I walked in there, and there was a guy. And this you know that place.
Are you talking about the sommelier?
A guy like walks in and like, it's like no offense, bro, but like can I help you? And I'm like, oh man, I just need to see what you got. And what do you blah 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 blah. And finally, I like had to spout off some information, so he'd be like, oh,
okay,
not like, and it wasn't my intention, but like what happens is he goes, oh, he knows more than I do.
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave him alone. And then I had the ability to just like, listen, man, I have to see everything you have before I can make a selection. And I think that is the only time, maybe one other time, that I was like scrolling and I was like, oh, Hirochi Rabanya, the HBs. Like, I've never seen this anywhere. I absolutely have to have this cigar. This is the one. It's like if I would have just gone through and went with them, it might have been a different experience. But I'm like, I need to know everything you have. If you've got stuff in the basement, let me see that too.
Go ahead.
Talking about like retailers doing that, the first shop that I ever had somebody actually like take care of me in, and this isn't a knock to any of the other shops, but I primarily went to a shop that I now know doesn't, like, they don't do that. But was Nelson LaGuastos. I was in Greensburg for something else. I don't know why. And I saw a cigar shop, and it was, I don't remember where it was at exactly, but it was their shop that was like the size of my humidor. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. The old chiropractor office.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Like you walked in, it was like 6 feet wide. There was a pathway. There was a counter, and to the right, there was a glass wall, and there was cigars in it. Am I not getting in there?
Yeah, I was
All right,
thinking
sorry.
it myself, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, I appreciate it. But yeah, so like not real wide, and then there's just like this humidor on the right, and it was like walked in, and you had shelves on each side of you, and that was it. And I walked in, and I'm like, I'm getting into cigars. I've been trying stuff, but I really haven't been impressed with anything yet. And the guy's like, well, what's your background? I said, I'm a 3-pack a day Marlboro Red smoker. He's like, and he just kind of smiled, pulled up some random Connecticut, and he's like, they keep giving you ones that look like this, huh? And I went, yeah. And he's like, okay.
Here's
These
a
aren't what you
64
want, bud.
Maduro.
He gave me the La Gloria Cubana Siriar Maduro.
Siriar, dude, that is like one of the few cigars that hasn't gone to crap after changing hands, right? Like, don't get me wrong, it's not like the highest of qualities, but that is still a cigar that you can roll in and be like, yeah, okay, that cigar maintains some pedigree, right? Like, that one's got some oomph to it. So while you're looking up what you are, I'm going to hurry up and hit a high point of last night at the Leaning House that I forgot about and wrote down here. It's actually my high point, I think, as a podcast host.
All right.
So there are couples that come to Leaning House for all these shows, and I can't remember this gentleman's name, but he's in Dave's age range, right? Wearing a salmon-colored polo, which is irrelevant, but I had to say it. And he goes, hey, man, I was talking to my mom a week or two ago, and she just texted me or something, and she goes, have you ever heard of the Cigar Junkies podcast? And he goes, background on my mom. My mom's in her 80s, but she gets around really well. She still drives. Like, she's in great shape. And she's like, she just sends me a text message. Have you ever heard of the Cigar Junkies podcast? And he goes, yeah, I know the guy that does the show. Like, he goes to the Leaning House and stuff. She's like, oh, I was over by like South Hills Village, and I seen this truck with this sticker on the back, and so I Googled it. It's like, so it's working. So like the 85-year-old ladies, man, are Googling after driving behind my truck. Which, by the way, I got my vanity plate now. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's awesome. CGR space JNKY. It's phenomenal. And
That's your license plate?
yes,
That's awesome.
That's
Yes, it is.
phenomenal.
Best $90 I ever spent. So, anyways, the funny thing about this is like, I was like, oh yeah, like I'll give you a business card or something you could like send it to her or whatever, and I gave him a Strum Junkie sticker. And he's like, I'm gonna give this to my mom, and I'm like, it's a different brand, but okay. And he was like, hey, can I take a selfie with you to send to my mom, because my face is on the logo, so he's gonna be like, look, Mom, I told you, like, here's the guy. And I like tried to pose with my cigar in the same position as
awesome.
the logo and stuff, and I was like, this is the high point right here.
This is it.
It ain't free cigars, it ain't discounts. It's like my 85-year-old mom texted me and was like, you ever hear of this guy? It was pretty awesome.
That's cool.
Funny you mentioned that. My grandmother stopped by the shop the other day. My grandma stops by once a week.
Your grandma's
comes in,
awesome.
hangs out for an hour or two. Just, I love it. She came in. She goes, oh, I wanted to tell you, thank you, boys, for cleaning up your language on the show. She's like, I enjoy watching it so much more. And I was like,
You're welcome, Grammy.
salute.
Awesome.
Like,
That's awesome.
yeah. It was a nice little moment.
Until Trey came on and messed it all up.
Yeah.
No, I think I haven't been
you
bad.
too.
One.
Two.
Two?
Yeah.
Usually it's Jason, so
No,
somebody.
it's usually me. It is
it?
absolutely. It's me more often, but I get away with it for some reason.
I had to clean up my act because I don't carry any change on me. So it's like the only coin I have on me is my Junkies coin, and I don't want to have to throw that into the jar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I knew he didn't want to. Like, he really wasn't embracing it when he decided he was gonna break the when he broke the swear jar. He just
Yeah, I
got
was
angry
like-
the one day and was no.
Yeah, because I had to stop swearing at that point. Or not only do I have to put money in, but I have to pay for a new swear jar. I'm like, I can't. That's a financial commitment that I can't do, man.
Oh, yeah, not swearing is not easy for me. It's like, speaking a foreign language.
It's
Here-
part of it.
Here's the thing: is like, it's not so much about that to me, because I don't think it matters. You can be very successful and reach a lot of people
Sure.
without having that be a concern. But there are some barriers, and the biggest one that I have is I know there were days when I listen to podcasts and I have the kids in the back of my
Yeah,
vehicle.
totally.
And it's like, oh, I can't play this one because they say some raunchy stuff, or they say, mostly it's like directly swearing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not stuff that will go over
Yeah.
their head. It's the stuff you don't want them, like, repeating this
Yeah.
word.
I get it.
And it's like, try to make it a little bit more accessible.
Which also, shout out to my friends that when they call me or I call them and they say, hey, I'm in the car, you're on speaker. And I'm like, thank you.
Or more importantly,
Thank
you'd
you.
appreciate it if they were like, hey, you're on a podcast.
That would be even better. But
We have
but-
to start blindly calling Trey on Sunday mornings.
Yeah. Let's do it. You know?
But we got to start doing it at 5:30 and see if we can interrupt this Husto call.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Hey, I got 3 little kids, so I'm up.
Oh, I'm so excited now. I'm very, very, very excited.
No, we've had it a couple times. Actually, I think last time I called you, I was like, hey, you're on with me and the kids. Just
Well,
cool.
he learned that because he talked to me and not tell me.
Yep.
And then I would be like, hey, what's up? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, by the way, my kids are in the car.
Yeah, like I'm
And
not mad
like,
at you. You have no way of knowing, but FYI, we
My wife does it to me all the time because she'll take
Good for
my
you.
daughter.
Oh.
eh,
that was good. That was good.
She'll take my
Womp womp.
Hey.
man. She'll take my daughter and her friends like back and forth to dance, and I'll call her and she's like, "You're on speaker in the car
good.
with the girls."
Thank
and I'm
you.
like, "Whew."
I greatly appreciate
Yeah.
Everybody I say it to goes, thank you.
Just answer the phone, cucumber.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be that guy and swear when your kids are listening either. Like
Yeah.
it's a reciprocal thing. I did have one more question about your profession.
Okay.
If somebody wanted to get into it, what's their path? What is a path? Because all the reps I've talked to, you guys have all started in
All
like
over.
1,000 directions.
Yeah.
Some guys never did sales and came over. Some guys weren't even cigars, but they were sales.
Yeah. Me personally, like, let's say I want to hire a younger person that wants to get into it.
With a big forehead.
Yeah, they got to have a big forehead, number one.
I'm in.
Okay. All right. You're too big, I think. You ever heard that before? Is that the first time?
That might be actually. Can we get a time signature on that? I'm gonna play that over and over again.
He's just gonna listen to on his way home.
You're too big.
You're too big.
You're
You're
too
too
big.
big.
I'm gonna be like psyching myself up, going to the boss's office. I need a raise. Time to go into the bedroom.
He's gonna
my
go
pep
home.
talk.
His wife's gonna look at him and be like, "Why do you look so dehydrated?" He's gonna be like, "You know why."
Oh, okay. All right. So I tell people all the time, like, go work at a shop for multiple reasons. One, you're going to expand your palate. You're going to understand tobacco a little bit better completely. And for me, that's the type of person I want a nerd. I want a nerd, totally. But then you're also going to get used to talking to people on a second by second by second basis. This is part of your job. You're going to also learn how to sell, but then also sit down and, BS with somebody. And I think those are two things that are very important in this job. You have to be able to connect with people on another level, but you also have to learn how to sell things at the same time. And then the other reason, honestly, is that, and I've kind of lost my train of thought here. I had a third point that was
You need
very
to be the
important.
correct amount of offensive.
Shimmer, person.
So I'm
free
gonna
trade.
counter
I'm in a
you,
debate.
not counter, but offer the only other perspective that I have, because on TCA Dave, it happens to be primarily my knowledge resource, and especially in terms of other than him, from a retailer's perspective. And I believe that generally speaking, they prefer to hire people that understand sales.
I get that.
because in their mind, we can teach you about cigars and we can teach you to enjoy them, and as long as you're not completely offended by them, like, we will catch you up on this thing, but we want you to have that sales ability first and foremost. I think.
I totally get that.
But I get where you're coming from, because there's a passion there that is also going to be able to help get you through that thing where it's like, man, this is a lot to do, like that 10 to 10
Sure.
and all the drive and all that stuff, being on the
That's
road.
the hard part. You have to be
Yeah.
an animal.
Like a honey badger.
You have to be an animal.
Yeah.
And that's what I look at almost more than anything. Like, do you have the hustle?
Yeah.
can you wake up and drive 5 hours like on a regular basis?
And then get out of your car and immediately
And then
turn it
immediately, like flip of a switch,
on.
boom.
I don't care if you're having a bad day.
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. Oh, you spent 5 hours in a ditch last night? Doesn't matter.
That's
Like-
but even like being here, and that's why I agree with you. Like if you come out of retail, out of a shop, like yesterday, it was real quiet in here all day. It was like 4 hours into the day, and I
So
realized
you're-
like I'm tired. I'm tired, so everybody's bored today,
100%.
and it's like I'm not doing anything different. Like I'm still sitting with them, I'm still chatting, but I don't have my energy, so they're not feeding on it.
This is why I drink every other Sunday on this show at 9 o'clock in the morning. Because,
That's why,
but
huh?
you don't know this if you just know me from this show. That is not my normal routine. It used to be on like Friday nights. I come home, I'm done with work, I'm doing the show. It's what I love.
Yeah.
I'm excited. The enthusiasm is there. But after like 123 times of dragging my stuff out into my truck after unloading whatever's in there from the day before at 8 o'clock in the morning to go across town, set all this stuff up, wonder if Jason's going to show. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just go, and I canceled the show a couple weeks ago because I knew it was going to be there. But sometimes it's like, just need a little bit of something. So if nobody else has it today, I'm going to get that
Yeah.
little,
Yeah.
let's go. You know,
It-
it's important.
It's totally important. Kind of back to the whole sales thing. I know other companies have different points of view on things, but especially when I was in your shoes, guess who I hated? Somebody trying to sell me cigars.
Oh yeah.
I don't want you to sell me a cigar. I want you to give me good tobacco and treat me with respect.
That's it.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Let's
Like everything else, fine. But if you come in and try to sell me something, I'm already skeptical and turned off. And I don't want to hire people like that. at
Yeah,
all.
but you shouldn't be like, this is the product, and I gotta find people to take it. I think it should be connecting the right person with the right cigar for them, right?
Sure.
Like that's what it is. It's like coming in and being like, okay, like we've talked about it a million times, but he's talked about today, to an extent, is what's your normal things that you like? What do you like outside of cigars? What's your background? What's your do you like spicy food? Do you like strong beer? Because what you're trying to do is not just be like, hey man, this one's got the best markup, this one's got my best profit margin, or this is the highest cost cigar and I want to look good for selling these. That's the difference between one sale and
Exactly.
repeating sales,
Exactly.
right? Like as you're trying to connect to somebody, something that they're going to come back and want more of.
I heard the best analogy I heard from that was, do you want to skin the sheep or do you want to shear the sheep?
Ah, nice.
I love that.
No, it's really
like
good.
it, and like the more you think about it, you're like, yeah,
Can't make condoms out of wool.
But the skin,
That was where
they're
I was
not
going.
good. But
I haven't.
Don't.
It's been so long,
Just
I don't
don't.
even remember them, except for the tailgate ones.
no, it's too thick.
Well, you were talking about like as from like the retailer position. Like I don't want you to
Other
come in
words
here
I've
and
never
sell
heard before.
I'm just moving past it. But like I don't want you to come in and sell me. Like you said, give me a good product, come hang out with me, and we'll go from there. And you can you can attest this. I've never placed an order when you were here. I don't
No,
place.
that
I
has never
never
happened.
place an order when a rep is here. I do everything through POs. Everything's at the very least the next day, because it forces me to analyze: was he selling me, or did he give me a good product? And then this cigar is really good. Good company, good coffee, good morning,
Yeah.
good day, right? Like, so this cigar is good.
Good morning,
But
good
you can
afternoon,
ruin
and good
this
night.
cigar by having it your first time around miserable people,
Yep.
watered down coffee. Like
Stuck in your brain.
it's as much what you're doing when you smoke a cigar that makes
oh
the cigar
yeah.
good. I mean,
And
there's-
what you've done previous to.
Yeah. There's
because
one
your
s-
palate
yeah,
takes the beating.
there's a cigar that I despise now, but it was my favorite cigar. I loved it.
But then-
the first time I had it, it was like 6 of my buddies I hadn't seen in a couple years. We're sitting by the fire. I smoked 2 of them that night, and I was like, man, this is great. And then I got another one, and I'm like, this is garbage. And then like I went and got one out of another box from another retailer,
Smart.
and it was garbage. And I'm like, Oh, it this didn't matter in that case. Like it wasn't about that.
You know what really sucks is sometimes retailers seem to do that, or not retailers, manufacturers kind of seem to do that on purpose. Have you ever? Because, and I'm not saying most, but I've experienced it where they put out a new product, you're excited to try it, you try it, it's phenomenal, and like that first batch was of higher quality than the follow-up boxes that come afterward, and you're like, and then you're going to smoke like 5 more of them trying to like be like, no, I'm sure this was good, and it's like, well, that first one was. This
There
one, like, there might have been a lot of
large
age.
brand that is so incredibly known for doing that.
J-
Their first year of a product is always fantastic, and then it just.
So Seneca has something that I'm going to relate to Jason. He's got a comment in here that I think is phenomenal. Most audience, I would be like, oh, Pokemon cards. But for you, I'm going to go to Magic the Gathering.
Yes.
Because I know that's in your nerd box.
My half of my DNA is made up of
So-
Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I'm going to paraphrase Ryan Seneca here and say on my Magic card, underneath of like all of the other different stuff, it says, special ability, Corey has infinite forehead.
Yes, 100%.
Swing.
Two blue mana, redirect all damage.
I don't know what that means.
It
but
means
it
I'm
sounds
rubber
nerdy.
and you're glue.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Pee Wee paradox.
So,
It's a good
as
name
far
for a
as
cigar.
like hiring reps and stuff like that and all that, what's the fastest you've had one be like, nope, I'm out. This is not the game for me.
One of my very best friends, not just in this industry, but just in general, won't name him because there's plenty of people in the industry that know who he is. He's a retailer, but he did decide at one point in time, and a lot of companies wanted him to be a rep because, like, this guy's like
He's
awesome.
got it. Yeah.
He lasted 2 weeks. Oh, and he's like, done. Absolutely not for me. Out.
At
Went
least he
back
cut
to-
it quick.
Yeah, at
Went
least he
right
was
back to retail.
self-aware enough
Yeah.
to realize it and not continue
Yeah.
to waste everybody's time.
Yeah. And he's very upfront about it. He's like, oh, yeah, I did the whole rep thing for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And was like, no, not for me.
When we were talking about the energy thing, I've only had one event where I wasn't happy with the rep that showed up. Stood behind the table and just kind of waited. And I'm like, we get a good turnout for events here. That one, everything about that event, it was miserable the whole time.
Yeah.
It was quiet. I mean, and we get 50 people in here for most of the events, so like, it shouldn't be quiet. And like, sales numbers were terrible, energy was terrible. I've never heard anybody mention that event ever again since. And I'm like, and this is a guy I love hanging out with him. His one-on-one ability, second to none.
Awesome.
But his group.
Not good.
And like, that's one of those things where, from your perspective, like trying to hire a rep, that's gotta suck because he might look like he's got it.
Yeah.
And he might, I was stoked for this event, and it was horrible.
So I would have got, like, in my mind, your buddy, your 2-week buddy, he's Homer Simpson animated in my brain. And 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, sales rep. I wanted street rep.
Okay. But no, it's number one, we're a dying breed. I mean, especially with where this world is going. The job that we do, you try to describe it to the average person, they're like, what? Yeah, and it's a really important part of this whole industry. It's not going to change.
I had a rep call me the other day. So my rep that I've been dealing with left the company. New rep takes over. I got an email from him like a month and a half ago letting me know he was taking over all that stuff and they'd be reaching out to talk. And then, so he calls and I'm trying to think of how to say this without breaking rules. Anyway, so he calls, we're chatting, and he's like, yeah, by the way, I don't travel. So, like, you'll never, I'll give him credit. He forewarned me. He's like, I never travel. I don't leave. I'm behind a computer or a phone. You won't ever see me. I just want to establish that now and let you know. And I just said, that's going to be a problem. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, there's a couple brands that I'm getting rid of because the reps can't show up. Like, I don't need you here every 2-3 weeks, but like 6 to 9 weeks, like
Yeah.
I need to see you in shop. And a lot of times, like, there's twice now that it's happened where I forgot about a brand that I have in there. Like, I've given to people occasionally, but like, it just kind of, there's a lot of cigars in there. I mean, I did a count the other day. There's 18,000 cigars in there.
Hey,
I'm going to forget some. I'm not going to think of them.
give me
And
5 minutes alone in there.
The rep came in and I was like, I need to order stuff from you. And she went, okay. And I went, not today, but I'm glad you stopped in because I need to order from you. It's not even like a personal like vendetta of like, I need you to stop by to make me feel good about me.
Yeah.
Just to remind me.
Remind me that you exist. Remind me why I'm selling your product. And bring me in a sample of your new cigar. I mean,
Out of sight,
yeah, 100%.
out of mind.
Well,
You know?
like, there's a new CAO. I saw the press release on it. Not excited about it whatsoever. Mark came in, dropped one off the other day. I smoked it, and I was like, wait, this is how much?
CAO,
It's like,
man.
Dude, 7.5.
CAO for a brand that like had gotten absorbed by a conglomerate. That's one of the few that actually still does really well. That doesn't feel like a nameless, faceless company. Like, I feel like they're still producing cigars that compete in a boutique market.
Yeah.
But if we, this is a little sidetrack, because I had something that happened that very, very rarely happens on 2 draws ago on this cigar, and I got a tasting note, and that almost never happens. And it made me think, if or when we build a studio, I want a button that controls a super bright light above my head so that when I get one, the light shines down from heaven and everyone goes, oh my, like Corey got a tasting note. It's like Blue's Clues. We've got mail.
What did you get?
Tasting note. We just
You
got
remember
a
the
tasting-
gourmet jelly beans that had the different flavors
Yeah.
of other foods? It was the buttered popcorn,
Popcorn?
jelly bean.
No. I get that every once in a while.
It was
for sure.
bang, and I was like, oh, wow. Like,
Yeah.
it took me back. I don't think I've had one of those since high school. And that was my favorite one, too.
I'm going to have to say, it hasn't changed much, but it has changed consistently throughout, enough to keep you excited, but not over the top.
No, I think it's a very true
Yeah.
cigar. Very genuine.
And it's
smoke.
not like it's. I'm just getting to the point where it's starting to kick up, but like it's not crazy, impressively like more. No, back to what I was saying about like the rep giving me the cigar though.
Pictionary?
You've seen my bin of samples I need to smoke, like the big Tupperware
Probably
underneath the
getting
humidor.
ridiculous.
No,
Yeah.
no, I've not.
So like you can mail me samples, and like if I call you and ask for the samples, obviously I'm trying to get it, but if you're
We were
killing
talking
me,
about
dude.
ADD this morning.
Yeah, you're killing me.
He's
bud.
showing his and messing with ours at the same time.
So
It could be any number of people right there. Steve Saka, BGD,
you
me,
Um,
Trey.
so-
maybe the beard ain't filled in yet.
But like when you come in and you hand me a sample, I light it.
Yeah.
Right now, right here, I'm gonna smoke it.
Right here, right
And that way,
now.
hey, you know, I had a rep do it the other day. He gave me the cigar and it went and tunneled like faster than I've ever seen one do it. And he's like, "Oh," I'm like, "Yeah, can I?" And he's like, "Yeah, here's
Another one.
Here's another one." I'm like, "Okay, you know."
But they just mailed that to you, and that was the only one you got. Number one, you may not get to it for how long.
Yeah.
And then when you did, it tunnels. You're like, done.
Done. Yeah, it's not happening. Like at least, so like that's the kind of stuff I don't understand.
Which is horrible because we all know you have to smoke 2.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, if you have one, and you know that's
Anything
all you
can
get.
happen
Yeah.
with one.
Well, you just mentioned flavor notes, and I don't know how accurate this is to how you do it. Like if you're looking for notes, I purposefully don't let myself try and find notes on the first one I smoke,
Just
and then when I smoke the next one, my subconscious just like runs with it. Like it's already got its preconceived, and
Yeah.
it's ready for it.
That sounds cool.
it sounds cool.
Well, was it you and I that were talking about the journal idea again? I think recently, and the biggest problem that I found whenever I would sit down and try to write this journal is like, I'd be almost manufacturing things to say that
Trying
aren't
to
there. I'd be like trying to be aficionado or whatever, and like put in all of this crap that fits the verbiage and all that stuff, and you're like, when it's really like it should be like 3 things: tastes good, burns good,
Yeah, and
draws
that's
good.
what I said. I was like, you don't have to write down I tasted cacao. Like most people don't even know what freaking cacao is.
Cacao.
When guys come in
Let
and
me
ask,
hear your pigeons run your mouth now.
I tell them, I'm like, get a notebook, get a glue stick, get a pen.
Mm-hmm.
Glue stick the band in, put 5 stars on there, cross out the ones it doesn't earn. Start with that. Don't overthink it. Don't, or a check mark. I will smoke it again, or an X. I don't like this cigar.
A smiley face, a frowny face,
just,
a winky face.
Make it simple. And then eventually, after you smoke 1,000 cigars,
Yeah, when
you'll
you
be
get-
like, oh, hey.
When you get into your 3rd journal and
Yeah.
you find yourself now writing down, you're like, oh, I loved the construction on it. It burned great, blah, blah, blah.
The wrapper was not,
Yep.
like
It
that's the
didn't
stuff.
crack on me, or, this one cracked. And
Yeah, I mean, the feel of the wrapper in my hand plays no role whatsoever in whether or not I'll smoke it again.
Right, but it is something that
But it's-
when you're trying to use all your senses to like really deep and enjoy.
I just realized how many Scully caps are in here right now.
I think
hilarious.
that I
It's
think
really funny.
I don't know if we talk about it. There's a possibility of some sort of reformatting in the future. I'm not necessarily for the idea of going with a branding system or a rating system, but if I did, based on this conversation, it's occurred to me exactly how I would do it, and there would be 2 columns: your score with 3 categories or 3 options, and then your final feelings and 3 options. So you got 3 boxes to check off for your rating, and it could be a 0 out of 3, 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3, and it's construction, or I'm sorry, burn, draw, flavor. That's it. Do I like the flavor? Yes. Do I like the burn? Yes. Do I like the draw? Yes. So I'm got a 3 out of 3, and then you got the, would you smoke it again? Would I smoke it for free? Yes or
Yeah.
no? Would I never smoke it, even for free, or would I buy it? Those are to me the ways of judging both directions, because then you get the like, if you got a 1 out of 3 and you're like, I'd smoke it for free, but I wouldn't buy it. You know what I mean? Or you got like the I wouldn't smoke it even for free category. And then you have 2 out of 3, and that doesn't sound all that incredible, but I'd spend money on it. I'd buy it, because then you're buying it is also weighing in the cost of what the cigar is for the quality of what the cigar is.
I would add, I like that system as like, so like if you're just starting off, do what I said. And then if you're going to go to the next step, it's this. But I would add one more category to it, which is out of 3, list the strength, your perceived strength. Not, because look, there's a lot of cigars in there that say like they've got the strength meter maxed out on it, and not one of us would be like, oh, that's a strong cigar. We like it'd be a solid medium.
I think that's important for somebody that's trying to find what their likes and dislikes are. But you also need to be careful of that, because there's a lot, just like the wording you use is fabulous, perceived strength, right? The perceived strength and perceived value. So you don't want to judge books by their cover, because there's stuff that looks like it wouldn't be strong that is. Mm-hmm. There's stuff that looks like it'd be weak, but it's not.
it's funny because when I was doing the research for this cigar, maybe I can pull it up.
You wouldn't expect this to be a banger.
Well, no.
Like intensity.
I'll just pass the phone around.
Yeah.
You can see the strength on there.
And that's exactly
Yeah,
what I had in my mind when I said it.
Right. And when I sat down this morning to smoke this cigar, I was expecting that and did not get it.
Yeah.
So
It's a sliding
This
scale
is
for
a big
everybody.
thing for me. This doesn't take place so much in Europe. Europe understands these terms a lot better than Americans. We're heathens, right?
Yeah.
We just are. We're not going to change.
Plus, they're way more open sexually over there. You know?
They're, well, they
Continue.
did invent the menage a trois. Anyway,
Well, they gave a name to it.
See, you goddamn knocked him off track.
I
It's so
hate
easy.
the word strength.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Yeah.
because it means different things to different people.
Is it body? Is it flavor?
So
is
yeah,
it,
like
is it
Europeans will
nicotine?
they'll usually say body and strength.
Yeah.
Two different things.
That's what we do
Strength
here.
is like the nicotine content. This cigar has a lot of nicotine.
Yes.
But even experts, I'm gonna go back to TCA again. How many times have you heard Dave's own panel argue with him, a guy that's been in the
About-
industry since the year that I
know.
was born, and he goes, "Oh, this is strong," and it's like, no, it's not. It's full flavor,
Yeah.
but it's not full strength.
And I just hate the word strength. I wish we would get away from it completely.
So what would you replace it with?
I mean, the main thing people don't understand what body means.
Sure.
So I would start there. Like, teach your customers what body means. You can have a full-bodied cigar that's low in nicotine,
Sure.
like 100%. I mean, there's several of them out there.
Right.
And you can have the complete opposite, a cigar that has a lot of nicotine, but it's a very thin body.
So
You know?
when I'm having these conversations with I'm not the one drinking. When I'm having these conversations with customers, I usually explain, like, when they're like, well, what do you mean by body? I'm like, you ever eat something and it's just overwhelming how many flavors you have?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, there's so much going on. It's like, there's a lot. Yeah, that's body. Like, that's the best way I can think of to put it into terms. Like,
Mouth
I
feel,
understand-
palate
feel.
engagement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like somebody who's not an experienced smoker, how do you explain that to them? Like, or the smoke on this is thin. Like, or one I use a lot is like, it's almost like you can chew the smoke. Like,
Yeah.
there's so much going on, you feel like you could chew the smoke. Yeah.
Thick with two C's.
But when you say that, they start thinking other way.
Right.
It's,
Well,
like, I've learned
here-
not to say thick smoke because it leads us down a rabbit hole.
And this is one person's instant opinion on my feedback, and I'm sure it would be contested by nearly everybody, which is the big problem with this, right? Is everything is so subjective. But I would say, let's talk about the taste. Is the taste mild or full? And let's talk about, does it feel heavy or light on your body? Right? On your body, on your senses, not the taste of it, but in terms of nicotine, is it heavy or light? And in terms of flavor, is it mild or full? And I think that would be my way of trying to detach those two things, but that's not going to work for everybody. Everybody's brain is wired differently, and that's why it's so hard to really find a consistent level to do it.
Just had a guy in, I was doing an event in Houston just a couple weeks ago, and this guy didn't talk to me at all, just grabbed a Reserva and lit it up and was doing his thing, and he was a total jerk. While I was trying to explain history and things to like 3 other people, he just came up and was trying to talk, and I'm like, hold on, like, I'm in the process of something here. And he just got right next to me and started like just puffing and I'm like, okay, this guy's already on a bad spot with me.
Yeah.
So I get done with him and I turn to him and I'm like, what can I do for you, sir? And he's like, this cigar's not strong at all. And I'm like, okay, all right, it's all right. He's like, well, I want a refund. And I'm like, well, that's not how this works. But I go,
Do you ever return a bottle of hot sauce?
I told him, I was like, no, like, to me, I was upset and I wanted to not like this guy at all. He already turned me off. But I was like, maybe I can teach this
He
guy
had a nice
something.
forehead.
So I go, well, that cigar does have a lot of nicotine, but it's not a full-bodied experience at all. If that's what you're going for, let's find out what you do like, and we'll figure this out. And he's wanted to be argumentative with me, but eventually I go, dude, list me your top 5 favorite cigars. Just tell them to me. And he listened to me, and I go, okay, here's what you need to go with the rest of your cigar journey. You like young tobacco, and that's fine. Stick with young tobacco.
Candela's, baby.
Like that's what you consider strength, hands down. You just
Right.
gave me 5 cigars that I have a place for in my humidor as well, but I also know I aged the heck out of those cigars because they get better and better. But right out the gate, they're super young.
Yeah.
That's what you like, dude.
It's
You
the
need to-
difference between
high
a
ammonia
bourbon
content.
drinker and a Scotch drinker, right?
100%.
Now,
Same.
why is explain young tobacco to me because I don't understand what you mean when you say that.
The easiest way to put it, and this is going to sound gross, but again, there's lots of gross things in this life. Just deal with it.
Sure.
It's ammonia.
Yeah. Jason,
okay.
Jason,
It's ammonia.
I think actually what I just touched on is really good for it. Like, if you ever go with bourbon drinkers, like, bourbon drinkers want something that has flavor to it, but they feel like it's putting hair on their chest.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Scotch drinkers appreciate something that has and is smooth,
Yes.
and you can taste without that burn, right?
And that's
the
what I
difference
like.
between young and old tobacco.
Gotcha.
Smooth versus bang, let you know you're alive, right?
And see, I think I'm a little bit in both categories there because I really, really enjoy a smooth, robust cigar. I like cigars with a ton of complexity and a ton of body.
Yeah.
which you can't get out of young tobacco
Yeah.
because it's so in your face.
And now that you said that it's ammonia, I know exactly
Right.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So that got me going down different. What do you find stronger as far as in general? Ecuadorian Habano or PA Broadleaf?
Stronger, again, the word.
that-
Crazy.
That's I actually purposefully
Yeah.
phrased it that way because I want it to be elusive.
Wants to know what one comes to your mind first.
Yeah. When I say
Ecuadorian
that,
Habano.
me too. But he gets banged up by PA Broadleaf.
I'll get it.
And I don't understand
for
how
me-
we can be so different. Like
for
PA
me,
Broadleaf is
Broadleaf-
sweet.
But
It's
here
very
because
sweet.
here's the thing, broadleaf PA broadleaf is sweet, but I think it's stronger in nicotine. It is a more robust leaf, right? And it's gonna kick you a little bit harder. And that's so another word that's come to my mind whenever you go like it's too. So if somebody said it's too full, I think in most cases they're going to be like, I'm feeling overpowered. It's overpowering. Like it's physically overpowering me. It's not. I don't think it's usually about taste. I don't think anyone ever went, oh man, this has too many flavors for me. It's I can't stomach that. Like I can't. It's you can't stomach
too
it
many
if you
flavors
can't tongue it. You know what I mean? Like it's too much happening. I don't think flavor wise is not something that's ever going to happen for most people. It's about that balance of flavor with physical overpowering, and it usually, if you're like too strong or too weak, too weak can be flavor or it could be nicotine. And in a lot of cases, like if you go, okay, background 3 packs of Marlboros, that's not enough nicotine
Yeah.
for you. You're used to a different smoking
Right.
experience, and also your palate's duller,
Right.
so you're going to need more flavor just to engage yourself
To get me
with
there
it
to
at
begin
all. Versus when they're like, if it's too strong, at least 9 out of 10 times, that means that nicotine gave them a pounding, and they couldn't quite. They're sweating. They get the pressure on their chest. Their stomach maybe started to turn a little bit, and that's nicotine.
And that's me. I smoke a pack of Newports a day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and you
Because
remember.
his doctor recommended it.
Right. You remember the light bulb kicked on for me the one day where I'm like, I know now, my palate knows what Pennsylvania broadleaf is.
Yeah,
I can smoke a cigar and be like, oh yeah, this is Pennsylvania broadleaf.
Yeah, it's a super unique, and like that's for anybody who wants to learn about it. That's a great one to get started because it's super strong, unique, and it's a good
Into the
entry
microphone.
into like learning what this tastes like. Like that's a great one for.
Do I have to kiki you?
Did you see me? Get,
You gotta give the microphone
Oh,
the
yeah.
hawk.
Ooh, that by the way, that's your microphone cover from now on.
Thank you.
Maybe we got to implement short leashes with a collar just to keep you from wandering too
That
far
would be
away.
hilarious.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Like you have, it's like the cone of shame.
Yeah.
What kills me
You
is
know?
I used to be good about it, and I can't get it anymore.
Well, that guy.
I think
Yeah.
having somebody on each
the
side
transition.
makes you fall off that a little
one
bit.
comment we had on our post
Yep.
was like, one guy's 5 feet away from the microphone,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yep.
he
Ding.
said he said something about every one of us, and I knew which one of us he was talking about because of his comment. He was like, that guy's got too much bass in his voice. And today I've tried to keep that. I've tried to keep that out of it. So I've spoken at a higher register today. But I generally have I've got a deep voice.
We have. We're running out of time. I just realized that we're way past what I wanted to be at. But one last comment on the PA broadleaf Ecuadorian Habano thing. My wife, who's not a cigar smoker, put it the best way I've heard, and I use it all the time now. Ecuadorian Habano is Indian food. PA broadleaf is Mexican food.
Okay,
so those kinds of spicy, and I can
see that.
Yeah. And because just hearing me describe it to different people, she was like, "Yeah, it sounds like this is like this and like this." And I had the aha moment when she said that. I'm like, "That is genius."
Yeah,
like,
one you taste with your tongue, the other you taste with your colon. You know?
I smoked this one like a turtle.
The colon is the final taste test, they say. It's weird too because like you look at me,
I try not to.
Yeah, for sure. But I think like I can say without crossing any lines that like I have dove deep into cigars as much as most anybody, with exceptions of like Steve Saka. That just went crazy into it. I still don't have a palate. You are at a place where you can taste and recognize PA broadleaf. I don't confidently think I can do that, which is wild because I don't think I have a palate until I try a new tequila, and then Jason starts ribbing on me. We're like, "Oh, you got a palate when it comes to that."
Yep.
It's like, well, food flavors and smoke flavors don't do the same thing to me. Like, I just don't have that ability. And again, if that's what you want to get out of it, cool. But for the most part, it should be: do you like it? Is it a well-made cigar? Did you like your flavor experience with it? Do you want it again? Those are the only real questions that I think matter. And if this is your hobby and it interests you to dive beyond that, cool. But for the most part, those are the questions that you should be asking yourself, and then all the other stuff should be secondary.
Yep. I dig it, man. How about, what's today's date? 2 weeks is not good. So 3 weeks from now, so it would be the show we do on the 21st. I will set up like a palette experience for the three of us, and I'll walk you guys through and like, let's find some notes.
Patter.
Let's
That'd be cool.
Work on it.
That'd be cool.
Let's do it on here.
We got to wrap it up, but the reason we have to wrap it up is there's an awesome event today.
Yeah.
That's going to include 2 people at this table. I plan on attending. It'll be a great part of my vacation. We got Sunday Fun Day at Liberty Pole.
Yes, sir.
Featuring Just the Tip Cigars as well as Aladino. So you're going to have the pleasure of getting to meet Trey Mack and hang with Sam. I will be there being an idiot as I do.
Perfect.
So if any of those things appeal to you, cool. And if one of them doesn't, just tell Sam, keep him away from me, and I'll do my best to leave you alone and enjoy your time. Before I say goodbye to you guys and let you know what we're doing next week, this has been a refreshing show for a lot of reasons. But so Trey, like we usually get pretty goofy on the show.
No.
And me and you, I think, could have done that. Sam did a really good job of steering us today. But that's what I liked about it. Like, we didn't use the show notes today.
Yeah.
But I think this was a really good balance of what our show can be on a deep, nerdy dive while still being lighthearted and fun.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to have you on. Thanks for swinging
love
by and doing the show with us. Next week,
buddy.
we are
Thank
going
you.
to be smoking the Forte E Libra.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. And that show, is that at 9:30? Or we have an early start on that one too?
Yeah, next is 9:30.
9:30. So hang out with us on Facebook group. 9:30 a.m. We'll be going live doing the show for you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. See you next time.
Salud.